Well, welcome everyone to the 185th weekly MLP live critiquing stream of
Woo!
Doom.
Of Doom.
No, not Doom.
Doom.
Doom!
I can't even remember what I'm referencing with that, but there we go. There's a reference for it.
Doom, da, doom, doom,
Of
doom.
some capacity.
Wait, did I lose a picture? Oh, I lost a picture. Anyway, today we got the ever fluffy Fluffies,
Hello.
and there's the ever Ally Alley Claw.
Hello. And the ever not dead living dead.
Brains?
He will never die.
Oh.
That's the picture is missing. It just ran off of me. So, let's do the picture I just added first because, hey, look, they're in our chat.
Oh, spooky.
And you know what that means? Super attention paid. Or at least the ability to ask questions and get responses, maybe.
That's what we like. We
That
like
always
those
helps.
people.
Yeah.
We have favorites and we're not ashamed of it.
And there's this eggy thing that's coming on. I'm going to eggy you on to draw an...
Boo.
No? No one? Okay. We should probably throw that link at people's foreheads and see if it sticks.
Just FYI, what I'm doing on the side isn't. I'm not making a comic panel. I'm making like an apartment building so people can draw ponies sleeping in rooms and stuff. And I'll let people just draw whatever they want in these rooms. That'll be my contribution plan.
Definitely just a pony sleeping in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Alright, so horsey, horse. Lucardo, buddy, you got any questions for us?
Buddy, pal, friend of mine.
I'm not your friend, guy.
I'm not your guy, pal.
I'm not your pal, buddy.
What is up with our silliness today?
There's nothing wrong with some silliness.
I can read their post. I tried out some soft shading again after doing the magic. The magic!
Magic, woo.
What kind of magic spell are you? Not entirely sure how I do magic effects. Well, that's actually interpretive. The show does glowy horn, and you've done glowy horn, so glowy horn. But there's all sorts of different styles because you're an artist and you get to interpret this however you want. They have set up a universe.
Making up magic styles is actually really fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can go eat up a whole bunch of anime and watch Magic Girl stuff until the end of the decade and get a better idea of other magics. You could go stare at fan art of really cool magic styles where they do like big swoopy, glowy things going on and orbs and like flat pentagram things floating in the air. All sorts of weird ideas. It's really up to you and how you want to define magic in your horse's universe. Because you're an artist, and this is what you get to do.
Pretty much. There's so many ways to interpret it. You just do what inspires you. You know, I know a lot of people that do a glow and mistiness and just like kind of airbrush it on and have that feel to it. And like some, you can even just sketch it. It could be a lined thing with a low opacity color. Sort of like how I did in this sketch here, where I just kind of like, woo, did little wibbly lines. And then the little hatches here, like if there was color there, I'd see through the color and still see the horn, but like there's like a bold outline. Like there's so many choices. You can have like little misty wisps, or someone was talking about in the chat a while back, like, oh well, the horn has like 3 charging stages, so it's like charge 1 here, charge 2 here, and charge 3 at the tip, and then it blasts off. Like there's so
Yeah, people can think about it however they want. You can be creative.
pretty much, yeah.
A way that I discovered I really like doing it is I'll have like a very soft glow with being more intense like inside the horn, almost like it's some coming glowing from within, and I'll have like lots of sparkles sort of around the horn sort of drifting off, like if it's like glitter sort of drifting off in the wind, you know. And it's like it's pretty and it looks nice.
Nope, unless you're going for like a certain style or you're trying to be super show accurate or whatever, there's no really set style.
I do like. Is this the? So is this the board game playing one we're doing?
Nope, this is
Nope.
the horse. Just the horse
Oh, the-
head. Yeah,
Okay.
the red one.
Yeah. Bottom right.
Yeah. Okay. I do like your little sparkles around the horn. It's very nice.
Definitely play. I mean, bonus if you have that magic just floating there and it's on a different layer, remove it, try a whole bunch of different things. You have a base already set up, so now it's your chance to play on top of it. In digital, lets you play hardcore with layers. Just go crazy. Go wild. Get dirty. Hello, Shalon Wolf. It's been a long time since we've seen you.
So long. I believe last week.
Was it?
I believe.
Alright, let's do the board game
Pictures
top
of video.
left.
All right.
This is by Spellbound Canvas.
Ooh.
A commission that I absolutely hated doing. If this wasn't a commission, I probably would have given up, all because of that damn board. I can't tell you how much I absolutely despise drawing that cursed board. I sketched it around 9 times, and even though I used the pen tool in Photoshop, it was an absolute chore to do.
Oh no, not chores.
I'm interested in why they found it a chore. Is it just trying to get the 3D-ness going on it?
Yeah. If you're out there, let us know.
They aren't.
But honestly, I'd say the board is better, the best part of the entirety of the piece.
Mm-hmm. It definitely
So
sits there.
your hard work, your hard work paid off, definitely.
Yes. I also really like the swirl of magic around Starlight Zone. It's nice.
Look, a different magic style. See? You look at it?
Yeah.
Swooshy lines.
If this type of thing is a large issue, like trying to generate detailed 3D objects, I mean, you went the right approach by using the pen tool to create those very, very clean lines in that. But you could also go the other way and go an undefined blob. And what I mean by an undefined blob is, like, the rest of your background in that, there isn't much definition to what's hanging around that. You could have gone for a more painterly approach to it, thrown on a bunch of paint and said, there's form enough there, let's call it a day. Because the way it is right now is it's cleaner than the rest of the environment around it, which actually is a little off-putting when you stare at it for a while. Because of just how clean it is.
Yeah, it almost makes everything feel flat in comparison too.
Mm-hmm. I think that'd be my only critique on here is maybe just, I know you finished it and you're upset at it and it took a long time. It did work. Like it looks good. It looks like exactly what you're going for from the look, well, from what we can tell.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it might have been better for you to approach it the same way you approach the rest of your picture. Because having a cohesive picture works a lot better than having different element or different ways of doing art throughout the entire thing, because it can be off-putting.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, do we want to move on to the next one?
Sounds good to me.
Remember, hop into that egg, yo.
Eggy, eggy, yo.
It's fun. It's full of pictures, and you get to draw sleeping horses, which is the best way the ponies can be.
I just finished some snuggly sleepy horses the other day.
Oh, yeah.
They snuggle, they sleep, they're cute. Great.
So we actually gave this challenge over to Steam Flash last week when we said, hey, remember, actually it was 2 weeks ago, but we reminded them last week and pushed them to do it. We talked about using an online program to display light in different positions and then redrawing your character with the lights in different positions to get a better idea of how light hangs around your character and the shape of your character influences the shadows and highlights. And they did it. They did what we asked, and it's freaking awesome.
Seriously, like, this is awesome. I'm so happy they went ahead and did this, and they did it with multiple views and stuff. And you didn't have to redraw it each time, which is perfectly fine because this is about understanding how to build form in shadows.
So, like they do often, they posted a big long list of pictures they did. Every picture of these individually, which is cool. And then they have their full picture compiled. Makes life easy for us. So they're saying each of these feel mostly correct, but with a few flaws. The last one I had trouble indicating the direction of the light source. It's behind the pony, facing slightly upwards. That arrow makes sense when you say that.
Yep.
The location of the arrows showing where the light is coming from is just indicating the angle. They aren't placed exactly where the light is coming from otherwise. Here's a full picture, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to know what I did wrong regarding the shadows on all 10 of the ponies. Just the shading, since the pony drawing itself has already been critiqued. I think that was like 4 or 5 weeks ago we did that one.
Yeah.
But that's perhaps too much. Sorry, I'm not. There's still got another 2 paragraphs here. Okay. Maybe just shading critique for 1 or 2 of them. An overview of them all would be fine. Maybe a critique of pictures isn't exactly fitting. Just some helpful feedback or advice regarding what I've done is more appropriate for this kind of post. I don't know. I'm not sure how to do the inside of the ears or the shading on the eyes, and I'd like to know where to put the white eye highlights either. In accordance with the position of the lights, so I could do with some help on placing those. As always, thank you for reading and for any help and comments you may give. All right, there we go.
Woo. Thank you for the well-described paragraph. It's always good to know where you're coming from.
Totes. Catch lights. Those are those white dots in eyes. Either that or it's what's the blindness one? Cataracts.
Cataracts, yeah.
We're gonna go with catch lights, hopefully. But I mean,
yes.
Blindness happens.
What I want to say, I think the eyes are most of what's bothering me in some of them. Like the second to last one, like on the middle bottom, is off, and the one. Okay, I'm gonna draw this over so I can just circle the ones I want. Laser pen. So like this one, I feel is a bit off, and this one as well. Like I don't know why the eye would have a highlight in the middle of it, as if coming from our viewing position, because it's like right in the middle instead of coming from the rest of the light source. The eye would actually be completely in shadow, I think. If the maybe you're trying to do like an ambient light thing, which I totally respect, but it seems very much like a light is reflecting in her eyes from our position. This one, I don't know why there's such a heavy shadow coming on from the side. Like you should really avoid lining the shadow up it's a little bit different. It's a little bit off, but it mostly lines up pretty much with the iris line, and it creates a tangent. I can tell that it's going like this, but there's such a tiny gap here, and this is so subtle compared to the difference between this gray and the white of the eye, that it just creates a tangent. So it looks like the eye white is actually just completely filled in blue. Like she just has like blue eye whites and then yellow irises. And then getting the same thing from this one as well. So I think it's the same. Oh no, it's slightly different. I can tell it's a little bit. This one, it goes sort of like this.
Yeah.
But even so, it's that like I can see with this you got the same sort of size of circle that you're doing. Whereas it's like, why does this need to be like a tiny circle? I would make it much larger and bring the shading. I should hold on. If I get white, I can actually do this better. I would actually bring the shading much more outside like this. So just draw it back, make this highlight circle bigger. I do appreciate that this is what the highlight would look like if this was like a marble. You know, if this was like a sphere, then that would be you doing a good job with the shading there, making it look very round, because it does. But like the eyes, I don't think are. I mean, they are a sphere, but we're not going to have that heavy spherical shading on them, if that makes sense. Actually, this one I'm going to make blue. Yeah. This blue for the shade of the eye whites could actually probably be a little bit grayer as well, like I was saying. Let's see.
Like for that one you're working on right now, that last one. Yes, the eye light wouldn't have any direct light, but the eye will pick up the smallest bit of light. It won't be as big as a shine as you've
Yeah.
made on the previous ponies, like the ones up here that have like the big old, almost like a spotlight on the eye. It's not
Yeah.
gonna catch like that, but it is gonna have a soft glow to it. It won't be
Yeah.
as dark as the rest of the
hmm
body.
I think this what I've got, there's still like a little bit of a sort of iris highlight going on, and like the white eye flecks, eye highlights does give it that like that reflective, even in the dark sort of feel that you were talking about. But it shows that like looking at this right now, this looks a little bit more complete now. Like here's a pony that's in shadow, and like the eye is also in shadow, but there's still like some brightness to it, so we
Yeah,
can really see like what's going on.
it's
I think
catching a
you've done a
little.
really good job with this one though.
Yeah, that bottom one's really well done.
Let's see.
See, I really do. I wish you were here because I just want to ask you what you're getting out of this. I want to ask how you feel about it. I know you said you had some troubles in your one generic critique for about all of them since we can't do them individually, but I wanna know how you're feeling about it. I guess I wish I could ask to see if this is helping you, if you think you understand it. Because the other thing is while you can do this with the same figure over and over again, understanding shadow, you also need to understand form and anatomy. So while you can understand it on this particular pose, can you translate it to other stuff too? So not only directional, but directionality of the light, but how its form is on the pony itself. Like, do you think you're grasping where things kind of pick up those bumps and where light kind of hits where the pony's different,
hmm
where those edges are that really catch the light?
Ah, buttons and controls. That's supposed to be an eraser. What's going on? I am forgetting my Aggie controls and how I got the tool set up. Sorry, I got that the wrong way around. Here we go.
Oh no. I mean, overall though, and that was just me being nitpicky a moment ago. You really do have nice cell
Cell.
Shading.
shading.
There you go.
I cannot talk. Thank you. Nice cell shading, and it feels confident, which is something that's really important in art. Is that a lot of when things look good, it's because the strokes are confident, the choices are confident. That can really help with the look of art. I know it sounds silly and super touchy feely, but yeah, it feels like, yes, this feels like it's supposed to be here like this. I can look at it for a split second and not second guess
Hmm.
what you've done here.
Shell shading when Princess Skystar builds a parasol. Sorry.
Wow. Took me a second. Yeah.
That's all I have to say on this one there.
All right, shall we move on to the next one?
Ready when you are.
Ooh, I'm not sure if I'm ready. It's a lot of work. Oh my gosh.
Moving over. That scroll bar is so heavy.
It's so heavy.
Lots of swooshes going on with the alley there.
So this is
I
by...
was just making sure my purple worked.
This is by Polishmir? No, I'm not. Alimir. No, not gonna get it. That's the attempt I have.
What?
I
Saying the
won't even
name?
try.
Rarity. How do you think I can improve it? And that is all we got.
This is a really interesting style. I don't know about you guys, but it almost reminds me and makes me think of that this is a painting of one of their toys that you gave like the show style hair to.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Especially with the
Now,
way the tail sits.
Yeah, the way the tail sits and the way the hooves are.
Here. Ali is better with the rarities, but for
Psh,
I'll
you're
for
getting this swoosh beautiful.
starters, I'll just fix this poop tail. It's not even poop tail. It's like a straight up like back tail. Like, it's not coming. Like we often get tails coming out here. That's what we call a poop tail. But this one's like coming out too far. It's like the opposite of our usual problem. It's like right up on her back. The tailbone will be about here because that's like at the base of the spine. If that makes any sense. And her tail does sort of have a nice bit of floof to it. I'm just trying to sort of prove that. Where are all my tools from like 3 up never like save what they're supposed to be?
Great shape, and it looks like they've had a lot of fun with their shading and coloring of this.
Feels super painterly. I love that.
Okay.
I think the big thing that's getting to me is that you have a lot of things going on in the head here that are kind of fighting which direction the head actually wants to be in. You almost have the face here at a side view, the ears you're looking behind them, and this is almost like a 3/4. The horns facing like a 3/4 away from us.
Yeah, this. I'll give some little side drawings on the face here.
So I think the big thing here would be you're gonna at the angle you have the ears at, you're gonna actually wanting to be push the face further away from us. We won't see as much. Things will overlap more. Like if I were to redline, we'd almost see the eye more like smooshed up on the edge here.
Yeah.
And the muzzle as well. And we'll have some overlap of the face onto the muzzle. Just with how much of this, just how back of the ear we're going. Because right now it's like this is the full back of the ear. There's no front of it showing at all. It's a very difficult angle to draw from. It's not very naturally intuitive.
I've struggled with it a lot, especially with human. I can draw a pony from this angle, but a human, ugh.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah. What?
Heck, I almost feel like the eye would be even less visible than we think. References! That's what I'll say.
References.
We love references.
Find your references, because you're gonna have some weird shapes. Even if you pull pictures of like dogs or cats or something looking away from the camera, unless you wanted it to be a side view where she's slightly tilting her head to like look back at the viewer. Yeah, that would be my major critique in how this could improve, is working on the directionality of certain features.
I love the swoosh. It's very nice. Yeah, you're like your like lighting is really good. Like this like edge highlight going on here is really nice. Very painterly.
Rarity's a hard one to draw at this angle.
Yep.
And the other thing is the hair, because the hair is also at like a side view. So the hair would actually be covering up the horn if we look at her, how the hair is made, or even starting right behind the horn. But right now it looks like the horn is starting behind the hair and almost like off to the side because of where the hair is placed. Usually it's like a mohawk placement, so about down the center, like an actual horse's mane. They go right down the center. So just little things like that. This is getting nitpicky, but little things like that could make your piece that much better. It could be that step up, you know?
Yeah. It's all about little bits of improvement at a time. Every little bit, it's a little bit more experience. Another little tool in your toolbox.
But yeah, anything else?
As I can think of.
No, I got nothing. Next.
Let's do it.
What do we got? Bottom left. Oop, I clicked buttons I shouldn't have clicked.
Uh-oh.
This is called Pony, and it's my first. That is all they say. I used to draw ponies back in high school, but like 5. In the middle school, I got in love with art class, and now I sit here, 22, and have not drawn around 4 years. This is my first for digital art, though. I got an itch and finally wanted to start. I'm happy you like it. Thank you for the kind words. So, art. Horse.
Art.
I'm interested. Is this drawn over top of another base, or is it like something that they've done from scratch? Because this looks like from the movie, and it looks like a scene directly from the movie. It isn't a problem if you're... Yeah, let me rephrase this. It isn't a problem if you're directly referencing and redrawing and all that. Completely fine. Feel free. I'm just trying to get an idea of what I'm looking at here. If the critique is directed towards the character, or if it's more towards the technique given. Because if it's drawn directly over top, then it should all be technique rather than the character. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, like there's like if we're not going to critique something from the MLP, like literally just critique how they've drawn it. So like if it's like directly traced from the movie, and it's like we'll just be critiquing the movie. So it would be more about like the character designs and like stuff like that. That's what LD is trying to say, I think.
Yeah, and they aren't here to answer, so
yeah.
The eyes are bugging me a lot in this one, and if it is from the movie, then the movie screwed up eyes.
I don't think it's traced. I think it's just like referenced heavily.
So when you're laying down that framework for a face, you should always lay down framework. It's a good thing to get into. Good habit. Lay it down and then keep on that framework. The reason it's there is to help you make sure that everything is balanced and equal and all sitting happy to the alignment of however you're trying to draw that. So the issue I'm having is this middle separate of your face. It's actually even more over. It's more over here. Oh my gosh. How about you work, tablet? Yeah, it's around there. And then your eyes are here. I picked that separator because that's the middle part of your muzzle that you've given us. So the issue is your far eye has just decided to go for a wander on the head. We want to pull that back in. If we're to lay out these lines that I've done here, this cross, it very much helps to understand where those elements should be placed with them. And I'm just blabbering here, so let's just throw down some ink and call it a day. We got an eyeball. We got an eyeball. And now we've separated it using that line that we've placed down. And it helps it keep on both sides without crossing over. I think that's my critique. It's the eyeballs. Just use your undersketching. There we go. My brain has decided to leave the building.
It's alright, I can't say cell shading, so we're on the same squad.
Teen Girl Squad!
Oh god.
Beyond that, keep doing your digital thing. There's some elements like how you're filling in the shading back here and on the legs that are evident of just not of a firm grasp or not a firm... It's looking like you just aren't fully comfortable with the digital yet. Mm-hmm. Just do more digital art. And the more you'll do, the more comfortable you get. And when you get comfortable, then it'll just become a lot easier. Don't expect to get comfortable in a week. Hell, I'm been using this tablet for like 3 or 4 years, and I still am not comfortable with it. Doesn't help that I keep jumping between traditional and 2 different other tablets, but you know, you got to get comfortable on your medium. It'll take a while.
Totally. I mean, I highly recommend whatever drawing program you're using, look up a tutorial on just like the setup and what tools are in the program, because sometimes that really helps with understanding what you can do. Like, I don't know what program you're using, but if you're using things like a clipping tool, like, or you can see if they have things like, not a clipping tool, but a clipping mask, that can really help with applying shade and shadow without going over the lines or covering your line art. Like, I'm not sure if, because I can see a lot of overlap in your line work. I'm not sure what you have on certain layers, or if you're doing line work all in one layer, you can, learn how to use the layers to your advantage. Things like that. I'll definitely help with also keeping it clean, because that's the one nitpicky critique I have, is that it doesn't have to be super clean. Dirty is great. I love mess. Don't get me wrong. My undersketches, I love making them messy. I love seeing paintings that are messy. I love mess. It's just the way you have some of these shadows, the mess doesn't have, I almost want to say it doesn't have a reason. It just seems like someone was to color in with a crayon. You know how crayons kind of leave behind all that texture and stuff?
Yeah.
Nothing else is textured, just the shadows, and they all are kind of chaotic in their texture. So that, like I said, that's just a nitpick. I really hope you keep going with this. I know taking a break from art and coming back to it's always hard. There's a lot of rust to shake off, but as long as you keep drawing and you keep at it, it's going to be great.
And ponies are a great thing to draw. They're easy, and they can be very, very variable.
Yes, very true.
I don't know how you do that, Maze, but you're amazing.
What did he do?
They found the picture.
Ooh.
Maze is like our secret hacker.
A pwn hacker. Hack the ponies.
Hack the system, yo!
I hack the ponies.
Hack Sweetie Bot.
Alright, shall we continue on then?
Yes, sir.
Continuing is good.
Oh, where did I put my pen? Fluffy, did you steal my pen?
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Here it is. I just respawned it back in your room somewhere.
Huzzah!
Back in the ponies.
Fluffy.
So the next one is by Weetabix Griffin. Something I've drawn.
Griffin?
Yes, Weetabix Griffin.
I love that.
Something
That's
I've
the best
drawn.
breakfast.
What? You have Griffin cereal?
Weetabix.
Oh. Okay, I get you now. So this is something I've drawn for /MLP Discord server. What do you guys think?
What was that?
HMMMM.
Is that part of the post?
Yes, MLP. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what do you guys think here? And they have a reference image, and the reference image is a Celestia, or not Applejack.
Not Apple. Well, no, it is Applejack. It's not
yes,
Celestia.
not Celestia. Got it.
I will say, first and foremost, yay, using references. Awesome. First step. Great. I love it. Like, 1,000 points to you. You expect them in the mail from 3 to 300 years. Just look out for them.
All right.
That's what I think.
That's what you think. Yeah, to expand on her a little bit. Cool references. Love them. Use them. Abuse them. Love them. What can we do to improve this fun little horsey? I think it comes down to technique. Not so much the picture, but the technique being applied. Don't... let's start off on the easy part here. Don't do this. That scratchiness, that is bad. You can use it for like undersketching that to sort of build up and flesh out images, but don't rely on it as a crux. My suggestion would be get a lighter grade pencil, something like 4H, and then use HB and then 2B to build up your layers. So your 4H erases comically easy, doesn't leave much lead on it. They're great for that undersketching to sort of flesh out your picture. Then you go back over with the heavier grade, something like HB or even 2H, and then you're going to continue refining. And every step you're going to go, cool, I have these scratchy lines. All right, we're going to do one stroke and get there. A lot harder on traditional than digital because, hey, I don't have Control-Z on traditional. I have an eraser, and there's only so many times I can erase on a paper before it's trashed.
Yep. I do think, however, it's sort of easier to have that like one-on-one control with a traditional pencil, but your point still stands.
And some might say, hey, Allie, your drawing over there is super sketchy and messy. I thought they said not to just do that. Well, there's a difference. There's a difference between doing each line where you tediously, like, go back over it like this. What I'm doing is called a swoosh. So my lines may be short sometimes, but it's like, okay, so I'm taking strokes and I'm building on that. You know, I'm building on my face here. I'm having smooth strokes. You notice how a lot of it just kind of in a natural curve. It doesn't build on it. It doesn't just like burp, burp. Need a happy face. Burp. I can't like talk and swoosh at the same time. But I use it to kind of like, and I'm not pressing hard. That's the other thing. I'm just kind of letting my pencil glide. Even if I overshoot it, I go back over. It's like, oh, I need that circle to be a bit bigger. Like an undersketch like this can be so messy. This is what I enjoy about undersketching. It's where I can get
this is
like
for undersketch stuff here. Like be messy, be loose and flexible, so you can really get the feeling of your drawing down first, and then comes like the refining for like making it like harder and clearer.
And then you might say, hey, Allie, but I'm doing traditional. I can't be messy or else it'll be imperfect. Well, hey, Zamzam said there's different types of pencils that do lay down different types of lead hardness, which makes things lighter or softer. Also, get yourself a kneadable eraser. You roll one of those suckers out over your drawing like you're rolling out Play-Doh, and that'll actually pick up some of that lead left behind, so it's not dark as a pencil mark. So then you can go back over it with your undersketch in place and have the confidence to be like,
I didn't know that kneadable erasers did it, because that's what I do when I'm sketching digitally. Is I have a big soft like airbrush eraser that is that, so like when I'm drawing, I'll sort of very partially, very gently erase over everything, and then I'll go through and just like refine the sketch over that. So I sort of try to do that with my regular erasers. I kind of put them on the side and then just like brush it over very gently to get the same sort of effect. But I didn't know kneadable erasers could do that sort of control. I'll have to give those a try.
Yeah, there's even these really weird things I was introduced to when I was taking drafting classes, which is like a sock bag thing of eraser powder that you like hit your drawing with, and apparently like it's a weird thing. I highly just recommend getting a kneadable eraser. They're great. They're like super cheap to get to. If you cannot get one, then it's just a matter of taking whatever erasers you can and just going really lightly, like you're just kind of like dusting off things.
Or you can also use like a loose paintbrush, a large one.
Yeah.
Just tap it off. I use one of those sock things. They work well. I never heard throwing it at the picture. I just give it a brush because it's like microfiber all around it.
Yeah, basically.
And it doesn't pick up graphite as much as it just sort of moves around heavier debris. They work well.
The reason why we hit it was because when we used charcoal, apparently
I thought you were using a figure of speech when you said hit it with it.
No, you like, because it's a technique to remove charcoal. Quick side tangent, I promise it won't be long. So basically there's a technique when you're working with charcoal on canvas that you pretty much make a whip. You make a whip and you beat your canvas with it.
Wow.
And that removes the charcoal enough that you can still see it, but it doesn't get rid of it. It was an interesting class. You pretty much just like rip off pieces of fabric and then tape it to like a wooden dowel, and then all this extra, like a mop like whip. You hit it. Art supplies are everywhere, guys. You just gotta be creative enough.
Once you sort of get into it, you will be like magnetically drawn to the art section of any store.
Ooh, what to buy this time? And this is why artists are poor and starving, because they bought a
Mm.
whole bunch of different art supplies.
Have you seen what Copics cost?
Yes, that's why I bought the knockoff ones.
And they work just as good.
Not
Well,
quite as good. They
There's
do.
there's some that do.
Yeah, they're pretty close. I would say they're comparable in a noob's hands.
Yes.
Because I'm not good with them.
But you'll get there because you're Zom.
I kind of have been playing with gouache more than I've been playing with them. Because the gouache is so fun.
You'll have to tell us about your gouache adventures.
It's fun. It's like acrylic and water had a baby.
That's what I've been told. It's like got the greatness of watercolor and the opacity of acrylic.
It holds a lot of color, so you can easily overlap your own colors with it and build, as opposed to only having one shot. Don't miss your chance to blow, sort of way.
Yeah, I hear ya.
Yeah, and you can even, like, I touched up a painting that was sitting around for 3 days. Just add a little water back into the gouache on the palette itself, and it came back to life. I was able to blend the painting after it dried. Like, crazy stuff. Anyway, we got more art to do. There's one more. Bedhead. No, yes, one more.
Woo.
I love this. Cute.
So this one is by MLP Gold. OC 2019 redraw of my original pony Bedhead. More information in comments. When I first made Bedhead back in 2017, he was supposed to be a lazy character. During this whole redesign, I realized how boring and basic being lazy is. I began to flesh out Bedhead a bit. Gave him a career and a rather decent design. I kind of want to give him a job, because I'm still working out Bedhead's everything lol. He is currently working as a dream therapist, because who else knows more about sleeps and dreams than Bedhead? Also, if anyone has any tips for drawing legs and keeping a consistent style with limbs and ponies in general, please let me know. Criticism is welcome as well. I welcome it, and it honestly helps.
I love your ears, and I love your hooves. I love your anatomy.
I love your hair.
I really like your mane. Yeah, I super love this hairstyle. It's really adorable. Your anatomy style in general is a very unique sort of feel to it. Like it's so different from what we have in like the show style that it's really recognizable. I love these like dainty soft roundness to like the hooves you've got, with like it's got like enough shape there to like remind you of like you've not drawn like all the fluff and all like the sort of like bone shapes and muscle shapes and everything, but like there's enough shape there that our imaginations run with it. So like it has a really nice feel there.
I agree. I like seeing people incorporate horsey anatomy into the dear old pones.
All right. As far as the consistency goes, like keeping consistency, that becomes very difficult when you start tangenting off of a source. But it's very doable if you keep in mind why you're separating yourself from there.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this makes sense. What I mean by that is you've made decisions to stretch out your horse and make it more horse-like. And you've incorporated elements of very horse-like anatomy, like how long the back hocks on the legs are, like woohoo, the actual length of the limbs, the size of the neck and the sort of shape of the head. But then you've kept some more MLP styles things like the petite little body, where it's very short. You've kept those very long flowing manes, and that all makes sense. I think where you're having your issue in as far as how the consistency between the legs and the body comes in. How do I put this? Let me come back to that. I'm trying to think of how to properly put this, because it's.
I mean, the biggest thing I can suggest for keeping consistency is know the thing you're trying to draw. Know how to draw a horse, just like a real live horse. Understand their anatomy, Because the thing about anatomy and style is that you have to know the
Speak about
anatomy
it
you're
more.
breaking in order to incorporate your style. You have to understand why, like Living Dead said, why you're making those choices. Why are you, drawing the leg like this? What part of it? Like, are you trying to combine show style and horse? Are you, if it bends a certain way, you gotta, think why would it be? You're right. This is hard. Why just asking why certain limbs would act how you're doing it in your style.
Get all sort of
Um,
introspective up in your style is the gist.
yeah, yeah. You gotta ask yourself a lot of questions in order to understand what you're even going for style wise. Because style develops on its own, usually by artists studying things they like, taking from other artists, masters, fan artists, show styles, whatever, wherever you get your inspiration from. That's what builds you as an artist. And all those kind of come together to be you and how you interpret things. So being
Yeah.
consistent with that is just kind of understanding your source material and understanding the choices that you make and what you like.
Mm. I'm personally just experimenting here. You don't have to take this as like this is what I think you should do, but I like this sort of painted design, and I feel like the way the face is so like highlighted, like it's almost like they're wearing like a mask over their face, and I feel like breaking up some of the white, like maybe put some brown spotches on like the nose or something, could be nice, and putting some like white speckles around like the neck could help just sort of like lead in the head to the rest of the body and not making it look like it's totally drawn out. And you have an excuse to put some freckles. There we go. Always good. Just a different kind of freckles. So I don't know. Because I do like what you got with the design so far. I think something like what I'm experimenting with here could help like even out and balance the colors of the design a little bit more. But that is just my opinion, and you don't have to feel like you have to do that at all. I'm just
That's
experimenting.
just my opinion. Sorry, it just popped into my
Yeah,
head.
I love horse designs and horse colorings. They're all so
Hmm.
fun, and like I get like Spirit Wind has a bit of my OC has a bit of a speckled bum, but like otherwise I haven't got any characters that have this level of like nice painterliness to them, and I really want to try making one like that.
Yeah. I think my only other nitpick, if we're critiquing the design, is the cutie mark. The the cutie mark I love. I love the ZZZ. I love that. But I almost wish there was a different way to express that circle, just because there's so many sketchy lines. It's almost going to be
Yeah,
annoyingly hard to reproduce if anyone else has to draw that and you don't have
yeah.
to be made
It
that.
will either look different or it'll like it'll have to be like a PNG they put in, but like it really like cutie marks typically like I've seen lots of ones like this where it's just like a single color and it's just like a shape or like design or something that they've done, but it's like very sketchy. But like cutie marks typically are like a very sort of clip artish, cartoony sort of design of a very particular kind of style and coloring, and you don't have to follow that exactly. But the idea
Yeah,
of the cutie mark is that it's like
very simple.
an image, yeah, simplistic image representing a thing that it will be easy enough to draw, and they have their own sort of like little style going on. Like I think a lot of them are sort of lineless ish. Um, but it's definitely worth because it's so easy to do. Just about this is the cutie mark I'm drawing, and then like not realize it doesn't look anything like how cutie marks typically are. So it is definitely worth like just looking, even if you think it's silly to reference such a simple thing. When you know what the cutie marks are, just like looking at like a collection of like different cutie marks from MLP will give you a better design idea of, oh, like I know what they look like, but now that I'm looking at how they're exactly drawn and colored, it's giving me a better idea of how I can design this.
And
In some
now,
ways, I think the original one is actually a bit more like a traditional MLP key mark,
totally, the traditional one's
even if it's a bit
more.
more too complex.
See, and I know I said all this about the cutie mark, but like if this is something you really like, stick
You
to
know
your
what?
gut. It's your design,
Yeah, absolutely.
but that base you don't need to make it cartoony simple like simplified cartoon style. Like you don't need to make the vector based MLP because this is obviously not MLP style. It's fine. It's totally great. But I just feel like the lines are just too thin. I just feel like you could keep some of the thicker lines, but all the scribbly thin lines that go into a circle at the end there is just the littlest bit too thin. And that's a nitpick. That's purely a nitpick.
The Q mark could be a pillow. This is the thing, like with MLP, like I'm just sort of like blocking out a design here, but like it will be like typically, oh, it's a sleepy pony. Like okay, so like it's like let's make the cutie mark. It can have like actually that's not a good color. Let's go for like a much darker one. So there we go. It's like the cutie mark can be a pillow, and it can have an outline sometimes I think, and have like a little bit of detailing. Like here's some creases. Or some better creases, and just have yourself like a little pillow cutie mark, or it could even be like a couple of little things, like a little blanket, just to represent. This is a sleepy pony.
Sleepy sleep.
You have like a little bit of detailing in the shape, just make it a little bit better. I don't know. This is a bad pillow, and I haven't referenced a pillow in the last 5 minutes. But that's just an idea. You don't have to do that at all. But just to sort of give you an idea of like, oh, how can I represent what this pony likes, which you sort of did with the bed in the original one, but like it was a bit too much. Like it looks too much like an image of a bed that's just been like pasted onto the butt. You
Yay,
can even put like
pony.
the ZZZ in, so we can do that in like in the white. So it's like here's the Zs.
Or you could
Yeah,
go
there we go.
really morbid and have a bed with a pony head on it. Two little X
Oh my gosh.
literal interpretation.
I knew you were gonna go there.
Listen, they look grumpy. A dead head, a dead horse. They're a mobster. They put the dead
Yes!
horse head in the bed. Oh my, we found it.
Yes, we found
Done.
the perfect OC.
I'm not
I
sure.
think I made that connection in my brain the same time you did, but you were already talking, so like your like
Yeah.
lungs were already outputting sound.
Y'all
But yes.
ridiculous.
Y'all
Yes.
ridiculous.
Speaking of bed heads and sleepy ponies and ZZZ, the Aggie is going on with lovely sleepy resting ponies.
Whoa.
Yeah. Fitting.
It's a very fitting one to end the stream on. Assuming we don't have any more arts.
So far, no more.
Oh, I love this Luna down the bottom.
If anyone
And the
has
sleepy.
any pictures they'd like critiqued, any questions they'd like to ask, now is your chance. Otherwise, we're going to call it a day.
Yeah.
Go draw some ponies sleeping in the apartment building. I drew on the Aggie, and no one has drawn anything. And I put your pony here and your room here. So people can just like doodle.
Your
Whenever I draw just like a normal thing, people are all too eager to like doodle and graffiti all over the drawing as I'm still doing it. But like I draw a thing specifically for people. I think the CPC's not here.
And I sadly have to run off after this, so I won't be able
No.
to.
You're abandoning us.
I don't mean to.
Oh.
Pone's here. CPC's half here.
She's half here.
All right.
She's
Well,
listening in.
with that, we're going to call it a day. Thank y'all for coming, and we'll talk to you again next week. Yeah.
Bye.
Jeez,